welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Brad.
And I'm Miguel, guys.
And we got a fun one today. We don't really have any new Halloween kills, Halloween ends news, a couple little things here and there, but I thought it'd be fun if we went back and revisited Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. So that's what we're talking today. We're talking the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between.
Yep,
So.
and it's pretty much bad. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm sure some of you are probably wondering how I would feel about the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. Let me tell you, I hate it. I hated it. I'm sorry, guys. It was not good.
It's an experience. Every true diehard Halloween fan has a lot of real strong emotions, whether they're positive or they're negative. Everybody feels real strongly about those two movies, but
yeah, but like I'm not like a Halloween fan. Like I wasn't like really into the Halloween stuff. But
yeah,
when I saw like Rob Zombies, I was like, this is fucking trash. I'm not gonna lie. I guess because like I'm not saying like you set the bar so low for that movie. Very, very much.
Well, I wanted to start you off, at the bottom of the barrel, and then we'll work our way up from there.
That's fair, I guess. But yeah, it's just a whole lot. But
it's all good. But good week so far?
Yeah, so far. I mean, everything's been chill over here. What about you up in there? What movies have you watched this year?
Doing good. This year?
No, like this week. I said that wrong.
Jeez, I can't even think. I don't know if we really watched anything new this week. It was kind of a busy week. There was a lot going on.
True, but I mean, we did get to see Halloween. I mean, that's us for the week.
Watch Halloween. Yeah. I got my second COVID shot yesterday. That second shot is no joke, man. It is no joke. Anybody who gets that second shot.
Well, I mean, I won't be getting the vaccine for a while. I'm almost certain. Because let me give you 3 reasons why. I'm 22. No, I'm 23. Jesus fuck. I'm 23. I'm brown. And I'm also non-essential. I'm also like non-essential. So I'm like bottom of the list. Like I'm gonna be the last person to get it. I'm literally an afterthought to them. Like they're gonna have all the vaccines. Like everyone's gonna be vaccinated, and they're gonna look in the list and be like, "Holy shit, we forgot about Miguel. We should probably do that now." Like it's gonna be like 2022 when they're like, "Hey, Miguel, just let you know, like you can get your vaccine shot." I'm like, "Be fucking great, I guess." Oh no. So yeah, I'm sorry you went through that though.
But it's all good. Better than getting COVID. So
that's true, guys. I can speak from experience. It doesn't feel good at all. I know it hits people differently, but for me, it was for like the weekend, and then the rest was just like sore.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend it. That's a shitty thing for me to say, but don't recommend it.
All right. Well, to get us rolling here, we're gonna start off with our spoiler review of WandaVision.
Yes.
Most everyone I'm sure has seen the finale of WandaVision, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna issue the spoiler warning here. If you have not seen the finale to WandaVision,
get the fuck out now.
Skip ahead a little bit, or pause, or do something. I gotta say, I'm gonna go ahead and say this right off the bat. I think WandaVision is a 10 out of 10 for me.
I agree. Like that show, like that mini series, I guess is a way to call it. It was great, like phenomenal. Like Marvel, like nailed it. The only thing that really like took away from its like performance is us. Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean us?
Like the fans
and coming up with theories all the time and trying to speculate and figure it out.
Exactly.
I understand
it was like every single week there was like a new theory, something new. This could happen. This could happen. And then like, the season finale kind of felt underwhelming, but it was still good. Mainly because we brought all these theories. We're like, oh, this is gonna happen. This is the episode. Like it's all gonna come together now. But then like as the episode started getting less and less and less, and then we came to the season finale, we're just expecting some ginormous like big reveal that's going to propel it. And honestly, guess what? I mean, I'm not noticing any hints of a multiverse still. Like this season, like
I don't know,
still kinda.
Well, if you think back, like even when we did episode 1 and 2, when we were talking about all the Disney Investor Day stuff, I mean, do you remember how much we were speculating? I thought WandaVision was going to be like just a fun one-off. I didn't think it was going to be serious at all. And then they dropped that first trailer and I was like, oh. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be a little something more to this. I didn't expect it to be as meaningful to like the greater MCU storyline as it was,
Mm-hmm.
but I gotta say the pacing of that show was excellent.
Spot
It
on.
didn't,
Yep.
you know, it didn't move too quick. I know we got longer episodes towards the end, but I think it really worked in that third, at least for the first 3 or 4 episodes, that 30-minute time slot worked. And
Mm-hmm.
I know we had 7 minutes of credits, which kind of sucks, but whatever. No commercials, so I mean, you gotta take out that time. But yeah, the pacing was perfect. It didn't give away too much at the beginning. The first 3 episodes were fun. Like, it was just a fun callbacks to I Love Lucy and the Brady Bunch and things like that. And it was just kind of cool seeing Vision and Wanda in that facade of a world she created. You know,
Yeah,
it was
I
just
agree.
fun. I enjoyed it. Um, the first 3 got you interested, and then of course it built momentum all the way up. And that's the other thing is, I think my biggest compliment to the writers and to WandaVision is that I genuinely felt like every single episode got better and better. Like, at the end of every episode, when those credits dropped, you were like, oh, it's like you didn't want the credits to drop. You wanted to see more.
Yeah,
Did you ever feel like it ended in terrible spots too?
every time because
Yeah,
I don't. It was the one where Agatha like basically gave her the name like
yeah.
makes you a
When she
Scarlet
said
Witch, and then
Scarlet Witch,
yeah, I was like, a la verga, like come on, like please, like
yeah,
I need to see more. And then I don't know that season finale, like that's the season finale of that show. It did feel a little bit rushed. I feel like that could have been 2 episodes. You know what I mean?
mm,
But I mean, it is what it is. It was still great. Also, like it was hilarious to find out that it was hilarious to know that Paul Bettany started the rumor of the serious cameo, like the big reveal of a cameo in in
yeah,
that show. He was like talking about it was like Star Wars Skywalker ish kind of thing,
right.
and then ended up just being
Him.
Vision. Yeah.
It was just
Yeah,
him.
it was
Yeah.
that was the most hilarious thing ever. The way he reacts to it now is killing me. He's like, "Yeah, I totally like dropped the ball there."
Yeah.
But it was
I,
still pretty good.
I will say, I thought both post credit scene in the last episode were awesome, especially the
Mhm.
last one, because it's like, oh boy, like she's getting into some dark. You don't want to go there, but
Yeah.
um, I really expected to see something related to Spider-Man: No Way Home,
Yeah,
something,
that
or
wasn't.
see Doctor Strange. They did bring up Doctor Strange, which I thought was cool when Agatha said, "You're stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme."
Mhm.
I thought that was kind of cool. And speaking of characters, something that Marvel does so well is like they take characters that you wouldn't expect, or they move in a direction that we speculate and we think of, like, oh well, this character is going to come in and Doctor Strange is going to be here, and blah blah blah. But they move in a different direction. They brought in characters. I mean, look at Wu, look at Darcy, look at Agatha. It was like characters that were just kind of off to the side, and they made them like integral parts of the storyline. And I thought
Mhm.
that was so cool. And even when they introduced new characters in the series, even if it was just like Vision's buddies that he got together with at the library or whatever,
Yeah.
it was fun to see that world. And they built up all the characters really, really well.
They did, and it was so unfortunate. I swear, like that's still the most heartbreaking thing I've seen in the MCU is Wanda like ending her reality
Yeah. It was
and just
emotional.
seeing
I didn't
yeah.
expect it to go that emotional.
Yeah, same. Also, I am almost certain Vision and Wanda are like they're gonna get back together. Like, they're gonna reunite because in
Yeah.
that scene, like the the Unreal Vision basically gave the White Vision like his memory. Like he
Yeah.
knows who he is now, and he just flew away. I don't know why he flew away though, because if
I
he has
wonder
all his memories back,
where was he going?
yeah, like I have no clue.
And
And
again, I think that's just their way of making you ask questions, because they want you to keep asking questions, because
yeah, pretty
obviously they're
much.
like, hey, come back and watch our next movie, which
Hmm.
is duh. But yeah, I was curious. I guess she doesn't know that the White Vision has all of the Vision's memories now.
Hmm.
But
So doesn't know.
technically, that White Vision is Vision. That is him.
That is him now. Yeah.
That's not the fake version of him. That is him. So I mean, I think I'll tell you what. If we have to watch Vision die a fourth time, I'm gonna be pissed.
I don't
We've
think
seen that
so.
man die 4 times. Like,
We did.
sorry, but wow,
I love
that's
how
a lot of
people,
death.
yeah, I love how people were expecting to see Ultron and that too, and I was
Mm,
expecting that too, but I still think that could probably come back because I mean, Vision isn't perfectly built. You know what I mean? Like he's
yeah,
reassembled
right.
from Sword, and I'm sure Sword has not enough security as Tony
Mm,
Stark did, and so I'm pretty sure Ultron could definitely come back in the form of Vision. So I'm almost certain
maybe.
like Ultron could come back, which would be dope because Ultron's always someone that just comes back.
Yeah,
He's
you
a
can't really
reoccurring
kill him.
villain. Yeah. He
Yeah,
always has somewhere that he's backed up and whatnot. So that's what we were all thinking. Like when Vision was created, like Bruce pretty much said that he has Ultron along with all these other things.
yeah.
So I was like, okay, well that pretty much means that like the actual body of Vision is still
He's
corruptible
Ultron
by
and
Ultron.
Jarvis.
Yeah. Which again, it's so weird seeing like you call him Vision, but I knew that man is like Jarvis. It's so
Yeah,
funny how we switched. But yeah, back to the whole season finale. Um Whenever Wanda pretty much said like I don't know what I am, but I'm willing to find out. That almost sets up like the multiverse of madness because like she's gonna go look for Doctor Strange
yep. Well,
for help.
I think she's gonna start playing around in that witchcraft book, like some black flame candle shit.
Hmm.
And I mean, I think she is gonna unwillingly turn herself into a villain. I think she's gonna become so blinded by that stuff, and it's gonna kind of taint her because I mean, she looked that post credit scene when fake Wanda is sitting on the porch drinking her coffee, and then you go back in the back room and you see her reading the book and learning and like whatever she was doing. I mean,
What?
it looked what?
That was a post credit scene?
Did you not watch till the end?
No, I saw the was there two post credit scenes in?
Yes.
Fuck me.
Oh
No, I
my
missed it.
god.
All I saw
I can't
the
believe you
only
didn't watch it.
I thought it was just one.
No, there's two of them. You got to
Was
go
that in
back and
every
rewatch it.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it. Yeah, for
No,
sure.
no, no, no. Those just the last one. There were two of them. The first,
Okay.
the one with the Skrull, which I thought that
Yeah.
was kind of a cool nod with Monica Rambeau,
Hmm.
and then the second one. I'm going to tell you what it is because that's your punishment for not watching it. Wanda's in a house just out in the middle out in the mountains somewhere, and she's sitting on her porch drinking coffee, and then she walks back through the house, and you're thinking Wanda's just living off alone, and then she rounds the corner, and that's not really Wanda. That was like just like Vision and the kids were like her fake reality. Wanda is in the full Scarlet Witch thing with that brown witchcraft book with like different like I don't even remember what all was in her little orb thing, but she's in like a red orb and she's like reading the book and like learning about like witchcraft and all the spells and like she's learning, but it's very sinister looking. It does not give off vibes of like Wanda's just trying to learn. Like it looks sinister. Like she looks evil in that moment.
Well,
So
shit.
yeah,
Well, shit.
I'm only irritated. You didn't see that, but it's okay. The whole thing it did justice to Wanda and Vision's complicated story, basically.
It
Um,
did,
I
and
like that it tied in Sword. I want to see what else they do with Sword and with those characters. I'm sure what's his face, the guy that Darcy trapped in the car and they arrested. What's his
yeah,
name?
I totally forgot.
I don't remember. It starts with an H, I believe.
Hmm.
But I think he'll be back as a villain. I don't think Sword's going anywhere. I think Sword's going to stick around
Hmm. Because
for
I
a
mean,
while.
Shield is gone, so I
Right.
mean, Sword's the next,
Yeah.
I guess, government. Not even it's not really government, is it?
I don't know.
It's
We
private.
don't
So
really
like,
know enough about it
yeah,
yet. So
we only
he'll,
they're pretty much like a space exploratory thing. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
Because that was their first conversation that guy had with Rambo
Yeah.
was like saying like they'll
They'll
probably
elaborate.
introduce they'll probably introduce a Fantastic Four there, which again people were speculating like that's where it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So many theories were shot into this TV show that none of them literally came through.
Well, and
Can you
that's
think of any
okay.
theories? Yeah.
In a way,
That's the fun.
I'm glad that they're taking it in a different direction than I thought it would go, because it keeps it fresh. It keeps it, you don't know what's going to happen. I am curious how it's going to tie into Spider-Man No Way Home. And part of my question, I know you didn't see that scene. Do you think this is setting her up to be the villain in Multiverse of Madness?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think she'll.
I could see
I
it.
think she'll play like a Loki-ish kind of villain. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like she obviously has her like bad antics, but she ends up like helping the common good. Like I'm sure she's gonna end up
yeah.
helping Doctor Strange with whatever type of villains in that movie.
Well, I mean, if you look at that last little bit, she went from being completely blinded to what she was doing to all those people in Westview
Yes.
to then, it was emotional when they were all like, when all the people snapped out of it and they were like, please let us go. Like, my daughter, like, my husband's on a business trip. My daughter's locked in her room. Like, please let us go. And Wanda was like overwhelmed with emotion and she realized what she was doing to them.
Mm-hmm.
I, that was a serious point for her character, and I almost wonder if that is being rendered meaningless because of the power, because she got Agatha's power. I don't know if that tainted Wanda a little bit. You know what I mean? If that's why she seems a little more sinister in that second post-credit scene.
I don't think she has Agatha's powers. I think she because you remember what she said, like the whole thing she learned, first thing she learned is like, you like a witch can't make any spells if she's in another witch's like force field or whatever.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So I'm almost certain like Agatha still has her powers, but she's locked away somewhere.
yeah.
And I think she just realizes her own power. And Jesus Christ, I am looking at the end credit scene.
Are you watching it now?
Yeah.
It's
Holy
good,
shit.
man. It's good. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
that is not good. That does
It
not look
does.
good
It
for
looks
her.
sinister, doesn't it? It
Yeah, it
doesn't
does.
look. She doesn't look normal. She looks like she's in some dark writing on the wall stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
again, it's a 10. I mean, it just proves that Marvel can continue to tell stories in different ways,
Mm-hmm.
and that they can continue to expand on their world.
I
So
think,
it's a big 10 for me.
yeah, and that makes me excited to see how Falcon and Winter Soldier, because obviously that has no themes of magic or anything in
Mm-mm.
that. It's
Yep.
literally just born-ish kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Mm,
spy kind of stuff.
yeah.
Like it's pretty much what that is all about. And I think that's one thing Marvel is really good, really like solid on, is like changing the themes and the mood of every single movie. Like you
Right.
could tell like the
Yeah.
environment that they're in is different, and it's
Hmm.
perfect for other people because people like you and me, like we love that type of uh,
We love that
sci-fi
world.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
we love that sci-fi shit. So WandaVision was perfect, but some people might not like WandaVision because of that. But
Yeah.
then Falcon and Winter Soldier, they'll love that one because it's more grounded to earth, I guess.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So that'd
Hmm.
be dope. So I'm
I think
excited for all of that.
I think that drops on March 19th. So
So
we don't
it's
have to wait very long for that.
yeah, it's like the next week is gonna be Marvel Legends, right?
Yeah, they dropped I did see after we were done with WandaVision, they dropped the Falcon and the Bucky Marvel Legends episodes. So,
They already dropped it.
mhm.
Like I can go watch it right now.
Yeah, you can go watch it. Which it's just a recap, but I mean, yeah, you can watch it.
I'm kidding.
um,
I
but what's your score for WandaVision? What do you give it?
oh, it's pretty much it's up there. I'd say it's gonna be a 9 out of 10 for me.
There you go.
Yeah,
But
mainly because I don't know. It's because of the theories that we kind of like.
yeah,
Just the
and
fact that we had all those
I do
theories.
understand what you're saying. But all right, moving on. We got a little bit of Godzilla versus Kills news. Let me pull this bad boy up. Some Godzilla
Oh, we
versus
screen
Kills
sharing
news
now. Here
here.
we
We
go. We
are
moving on up.
screen sharing. That
All
we
right.
are. Let me move us up here. All righty. So Junkie XL, who wrote the score for Godzilla versus Kong, he was in an interview, and a couple of real interesting things came out of this. That fight is 18 minutes long on the aircraft carrier. The fight is 18 minutes long. Now, I feel like we've only seen like 2 seconds of that because of the trailers we've gotten. I mean, we've seen Kong punch G, and then G slaps him, and then Kong like punches him again from the ground. But that's all we've seen. But the interesting thing comes from Junkie XL. And he says, I'm not going to say how this thing ends, but there's some spectacular. And then, so this scene that was released today, was it on IGM? 40 seconds of footage. That scene is 18 minutes long, and it's ridiculous. And he goes on to talk about how difficult that was to score, because that's 18 minutes of like crazy battle music going on.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm sure it is really hard, because it's like, how can I put this? Like, it's like he had to have composed some before production. So like whenever I'm sure whenever he was like watching a movie, I don't know how the whole like, composing for these movies are, but I'm sure it's really hard to do. And knowing that it's 18 minutes of just pure raw like action, I'm sure that's difficult to do, because you don't want to like make things repetitive. I guess you want to change things up throughout the fight.
Well, it's a tedious process. That's the thing. I mean, a composer's got to sit down and watch it to kind of build a sound world, and then they basically have to kind of figure it out and layer it on the movie. They do what's called spotting, where the composer and the director sit down and they just kind of spot each piece of the film and try to talk about like what music needs to go there. So I mean, I'm sure it was 18 minutes of a battle scene. That's a lot. Do you think we'll actually see 18 minutes of action, or is it gonna be like 16 minutes lead up, 2 minutes action?
I remember we had this conversation before. So like they kind of learned from their mistakes from Godzilla 2014, because you remember how that went, right? It was like leading up to the big action sequence. Like we can go back to the big like reveal of Godzilla at the airport, and like it was this huge thing, and it was coming up, and you hear the roar, and it just cuts to people.
Right. Yeah.
Like that pissed off a lot of people that was the biggest problem for that movie, and they learned from that with King of the Monsters when they started like legitimately like putting like more action, but it was kind of like in the humans' perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of them. So I just want to see like pure, like I could care less. I want pure CGI fights. That's what I'm there to see. And if he's saying 18 minutes of absolute action, I'm almost certain like 10 of it is gonna be people.
Yeah, it'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
It'd definitely be pretty dope to see.
And I'm all for it. But I really hope they learn. They continue to learn, and they just show action. That's all we need.
Yeah, definitely. So to wrap us up with our movie news thing, we do have a little bit of Halloween Kills news from Bloody Disgusting, which is pretty cool. Andy Matichak was in an interview. And this article, here's what it has to say from Bloody Disgusting. The Strode family will return later this year in David Gordon Green's Halloween Kills, a sequel to the 2018 version of Halloween that will pick up after Laurie Strode, Allison Strode, and Karen Strode locked Michael Myers in Laurie's basement. Well, I'm kind of spoiling this for you, and burn the whole damn house down. Michael's still alive, of course, and he's more pissed off than ever before. Andy Matichak is back as Allison in Halloween Kills, and speaking with Bloody Disgusting's Boo Crew podcast. That's an awesome name for a podcast, by the way. That's dope. This week, Matichak teases Michael's fury in this year's sequel. And this is what Andy Matichak had to say. She said, "It is a movie that I think fans will be very happy with." Matichak tells the show, "It's big and it's bad and it's mean. And we've seen Michael. I think Laurie, Allison, and Karen pissed him off a little bit by locking him in a basement because his retaliation is on the next level." And this goes with everything we have heard about Halloween Kills, that it is just a wild and crazy ride from top to bottom. I know you're not caught up. It's going to happen. I hope that didn't spoil too much for you.
No, you're fine.
But it'll be fine. Like you'll still enjoy it.
Yeah, like I'm not big on like being like spoiled, but I'll end up enjoying the movie without a doubt.
Yeah, it's great, man. And then she went on to say, talking about the film's possible, it's already been delayed once, and there's kind of rumblings out there that it may either get pushed up or delayed again. I don't see them delaying it to next year. I think that's too far. I think it's going to lose momentum if they do that. I really think that it's going to come out this year, come hell or high water. Whether it's going to be on HBO Max, or I think it will get a theatrical release. It's just going to be limited.
Yeah,
But
most
hopefully,
likely.
hopefully, Biden said every adult that wants a vaccine in the country should be able to get one by the end of May. So hopefully things will be kind of looking a little bit better by then. But this is what Andy Matichak had to say. She said, of course it's a bummer. You want the movie to come out. Fans were really excited. We were all excited to see the finished product. But at the end of the day, one of the beauties of horror movies is watching it with the horror community and seeing it in a theater with acoustics. And of course, you want to hear John Carpenter's score in a big theater. It's just different and it carries a bigger punch. This movie in particular, it's so big, chaotic, vicious, and awesome. It deserves to be seen in the theater. And we weren't able to do that last year, which is just a sad fact of it. And hopefully we're able to do it this year. And if not, I'm sure it'll be released on VOD or however they do it, but it will be out this year for sure. That goes back to everything that we've heard about Halloween Kills, is that it's wild and crazy and it is going to be violent as hell.
That's actually pretty exciting, but I hope it's not too violent. You know what I mean?
No. It's not going to be
Yeah,
Rob
it's
Zombie
like
violent.
yeah,
It's going to
well,
be
literally,
tastefully done. I'm sure. And of course, it's what worked for the original Halloween back then is that it didn't have. It was, yes, it's a slasher movie, but it wasn't overly graphic. You didn't have to see everybody die for it to be impactful.
yeah,
Versus Rob Zombie's, where he's ripping the guts out of a dog and eating it in front of you on screen, and it's like,
that wasn't.
want to see
Yeah,
that.
that was unnecessary. I'm
Like,
not gonna lie.
it's too much. Like, leave more of it to your imagination, and it makes it scarier. And I think this is going to be a nice blend of on-screen kills and off-screen. But I think it's going to be a really good blend, and it makes me happy knowing that we are going to get it in a movie theater, or at least it will come out this year. So,
And I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be excited for it, myself included, mainly because like since I've seen Halloween Rob Zombies, like I want to see the original now,
yeah.
just so I can get a good idea as to, like what I'm missing.
Yeah,
Obviously,
like I said, we'll probably next month, because I'd say May is probably when we'll get it. I don't know if we'll get a trailer, but we'll probably get a poster. We may get another teaser trailer, something like that. So sometime next month, I'll catch you up.
yeah,
And then we'll do the rest of the series at some other point.
for
But
sure.
let's hop in here. First of all, I'm gonna advertise a little something here. All you Halloween fans, if you don't have Taking Shape, you need to buy this book.
What is
This
that?
is the cool. This is the like anthical. I can't
Pause.
even talk. It's basically the anthology of Halloween. It's the anthropological history of Halloween. There we go. Now I could fucking speak.
Of the movie or just Halloween
Of
itself?
the entire series. It's got interviews. It's got the behind the scenes of how each film was made. Its critical release. How much money it made. It's got stuff about the script. And they actually just did a sequel now with it Taking Shape Part 2, and it's basically about all of the unmade scripts. Halloween is a whole web, man. You have no idea. And I feel like you'd actually kind of get into it because it's cool. It's cool to think about what we got and what we could have gotten instead. You know what I mean? With anything, because movies go through multiple drafts of scripts and things like that. But it's just, I don't know, Halloween, it's had such a weird, crazy history behind it. And it's just cool. So, a little bit
I'm
of
sure.
history.
Okay,
Sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
you're good. I was hopping in. A little bit of history with Rob Zombie's Halloween. H2O was a huge success. That was the first time they did like a light reboot. And then Resurrection was terrible. He literally fought Busta Rhymes at the end of Resurrection.
I need to see that.
Terrible.
I
Not
need
good.
to see it. I need to see
What
it.
it's about tied with Rob Zombie's H2 as being the worst in the franchise. It's about tied.
No, if I'm literally gonna, there's one thing I didn't think I wanted to see is pretty much Michael Myers fighting Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
That's something I need in my head.
Well,
Rent
and to
free.
make it worse, Busta Rhymes goes, "Trick or treat, motherfucker." He says it to him. It's funny, and looking back on it, it's funny. But if you try to take it seriously, it's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
it's terrible.
well, I mean, it's like whenever have you seen the Leprechaun series?
No, I can't bring myself to. I have
I am
no
sorry.
interest.
Those are
I have
absolutely like
no interest.
the first one was pretty good. But then whenever I started seeing Leprechaun Back to the Hood, like I promise you, like it's been the most hilarious movie I've seen in my life. Like is pretty much the Leprechaun in Compton or like somewhere, and just the way he acts in that movie is far from how he should have in the original.
Yeah.
But it's just pure comedy. Like there's nothing scary about it. It's just a comedy with
Yeah.
a scary guy. It's kind of the same they had with like Freddy versus Jason. You remember that
Mhm.
movie? Like Freddy was like he was comedic, but he was still very scary.
Yeah.
And Freddy versus Jason, he was just absolute comedic. Like there was
Yeah.
no sense of seriousness in him at all.
Right. And that's kind of, we call him MTV Freddy in the horror universe, because the first two he was kind of serious, but
Yeah.
after that it was just like it was just like having fun. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
kind of rooted for Freddy in a weird way because it's funny. I know he's the bad guy, but some of the stuff that Freddy says in those later Nightmare sequels is hilarious. Like
Yep.
he's hysterical. But then of course Mustafa Akkad was tragically killed in Jordan. And after that, his son Malek took the helm of it. I think Malek produced H4 through H6, I believe. And then in 2006, they tapped Rob Zombie to do a remake / reimagining of the Halloween franchise. And I would say his films are a reimagining of it, because it is a remake, but it's also its own thing too. You know what I mean? I think his are on a different level. And I'm not saying that, to be rude. And I'm going to go ahead and sugarcoat this whole thing and saying nothing that we are going to say tonight is a personal attack against Rob Zombie. Rob, if you're ever listening to this, I don't think you're ever going to be listening to this. But if you are, this is not personal at all. I think what you do is great. I think Rob Zombie does really good things in his own construct, but his artistic decisions are just not. I don't agree with him.
Here's my thing. No, look, Rob Zombie is a pretty good actor, good director, and The Devil's Rejects is one of my favorites from him. And I think he did a successful job on Halloween, and like to be on like a little bit, he did a successful job because it created a lot of emotions and reactions, either negative or positive. Because the reason why I don't like the movie so much, is just the way he wrote every character in that movie. Because they were like, oh my god, pure idiots. Like I swear, guys, when we drop this commentary, you're gonna hear me talk all about how literally like it's like I don't know. You guys if you guys know about the Swiss cheese model, it's pretty. I'm like literally going through that. It's like literally they could have done this, they could have done that, they could have done this, and guess what? Your throat could have been not ripped out of your body.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the characters and how he wrote them. I mean, he flat out says in it's in this book, it's in the special features in the director's cut Blu-ray for the first film. I mean, he wrote Michael's house and that family and this set of characters as white trash heaven. He said that himself. So I mean, he does it on purpose.
Yeah.
That's the wheelhouse he's trying to play in. That's the picture he's trying to paint. And say what you will about his movies. I thought the first one was pretty good. I really did. The second one, we'll talk about the second one in a minute. But say what you will, Rob Zombie saved the Halloween franchise. He really did.
It low-key gave it a jump start. I'm pretty sure
because after Resurrection, it was in such a deep dark rabbit hole, and I think nobody really cared anymore. And then this reimagining of it brought new audiences back. Plus, of course, everybody, like our parents' age was like, well, yeah, I'm going to go see it because it's Halloween. So I mean, again, say what you will, he saved it. I really believe that, because he brought a new interest in it. He brought a new audience to check this thing out.
Yeah, for sure. And whenever I first heard about Rob Zombie's Halloween movie, when I like that came out, I'd say back when the old Richmond Mall was still around. And guys, that was
2007.
2007. That was a while ago. So like I mean, just seeing the poster itself, I was rightfully scared. I mean, Brad
Yeah.
obviously saw it at like 6th grade, so he was a different breed compared to me at the time. But
I
yeah,
saw both
I
of them
mean,
in the movie theater.
yeah,
I'm not ashamed.
yeah,
I
we are
turned
not the
out fine.
same. We are not the same. But yeah, I completely agree that Rob Zombie pretty much did save it because I knew nothing of Halloween. Even though I knew about Friday the 13th, I knew about Nightmare on Elm Street, I knew about Chucky. I really didn't care much for Michael Myers, but when Rob Zombie came out with that new one, like that's where Michael Myers and Halloween series came in the spotlight for me. I didn't delve into it, but I acknowledged that that was one of the top horror movies in the genre. So whenever he did that, I'm pretty sure a lot more people became fans of Halloween.
Yeah,
And
definitely. I mean, it
and
was my introduction. I had never seen the.
yeah,
I feel like I need to wash my mouth out with soap after saying this, but it was the first ones I had ever seen. I don't think I actually watched the original until after Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 came out. So it was probably 2010, 2011 before I actually sat down and watched the original. And it's funny because it's a product of your time, and I mean, look behind me. I have tremendous respect for the first movie. It's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, and I've come to love the franchise. But Rob Zombie's Halloween films was my introduction. If they wouldn't have come along, I don't know that I would have really. I don't know that I'd be as much of a horror guy as I am now.
okay,
So I mean,
I got you.
I have to credit him with that. I mean, his movies are one of the things that got me into horror movies, and horror film. It's funny because Rob Zombie actually called John Carpenter before they announced that he was taking the helm to remake it, and both of them have very different versions of how that phone call went. It's just funny because
What was Rob Zombie's take on it?
One of them, I forget which one. Rob Zombie said that John Carpenter told him to make it his own movie and to do whatever he wanted with it, to not do a carbon copy of what the original one was, which he changed it. He made it his own. But then there was an interview from a few years later, and John Carpenter said that Rob Zombie was kind of an asshole about it, and he was like, I don't know. It's just funny. Like the two of them have like different versions of how that conversation happened, but it's just that's just kind of funny.
Like that's John Carpenter. Like that's his baby right there.
I know.
So
Well,
obviously, like anyone like taking a helm, he's gonna like be a little bit bitter about it.
Yeah,
and he probably doesn't want them to mess it up.
John Carpenter said that Rob Zombie said in an interview years later that when Rob called him to tell him firsthand that he was going to be remaking it, he said that John Carpenter was all cold and like, well, whatever, like I don't care. And John Carpenter was like, I wasn't like that at all. He said I thought it was cool. He was like, I told him, make it your own movie, do what you want with it. So it's kind of funny to me that they have different versions of that. But originally he wanted to do 2 movies, which I know we did get 2, but he wanted to break that first film into 2 movies. One, which was the prequel half about Michael's younger years, and to have that movie end with Michael breaking out of Smith's Grove, and then to do a second film, which is the actual remake of Halloween, where he goes back to Haddonfield and wreaks havoc and finds Laurie. And the studio shot that down. They were like, no, that's not going to work. And I'm glad he didn't do that, because I'm sorry, I don't want to watch an hour-and-a-half movie of Michael as a kid. I really don't. Dag Ferrick did a great job. I couldn't watch an hour-and-a-half of that though. I couldn't do it. It just it wouldn't work.
Absolute trash, pretty much.
It would not work.
Because I don't know. Whenever with the Devil's Rejects, like it was like I mean that was primarily like trailer trash, but you were expecting it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
you
like,
were.
but then whenever I feel like when it came to Halloween, like it's already been a solidified story and origin that it would have come off tasteless or disrespectful to the
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
original
yeah.
theme. So like I feel like that definitely would have worked. It probably would have bombed, and they probably never would have had the next three movies. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That would end up
And
just being some trailer trash origin that would have been retcon or something, which I'm sure now it
absolutely.
is.
And the reason I say it's more of a reimagining is because if you look at the original Halloween, John Carpenter's original intention was that you don't know why Michael is crazy. Like when he kills his sister in the original one, it's literally for no reason. Like there's nothing that prompts it. Like he lives in a normal house with a normal sister who's trying to get laid, and his parents are out like on Halloween night, and like he just kills her for no reason. Versus this one, he turned it into a nature versus nurture story. You know what I mean? Where he has the trashy family, and he wasn't raised right, and Ronnie is terrible, which Williams Forsythe did a bang up job as that character. He really did.
Yeah,
You made him
he played trash really
like
good.
you hated him by the end of his scenes, and
Hmm.
he did a really great job. Um, but he turned it into a nature versus nurture thing, and I wanted to ask you what you thought about this. As somebody who is not a fan of the series, there's a constant debate on whether Rob Zombie took away Michael's mystique and like the mystery behind him. What do you think? Did giving him that backstory take away the mystique, or did it help because it explained why he was so crazy?
Well, that's a good question. Well, since I haven't seen, oh, that was a voice crack. Ugh. So since I haven't seen the original Halloween, like I can't give like a definitive answer, but I think that from what I understood from like the Michael Myers story, like it was primarily like like an anonymous serial killer. Like you don't know who he is, and or you kind of you know who he is, but you don't know you have no sense of like personality behind it. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
mean it's like what Loomis says, like a blank, pale, emotionless face. Like there's no motive. There's no
Hmm.
reason why. It's just he's just doing it.
Yeah. So that whenever I saw Halloween one, I mean, it was cool to give him like a backstory, and like, I mean, I felt no sympathy for him still, no matter what he went through. The man literally did all that. No, like no sympathy whatsoever. But like, it was kind of cool to see like the there's a certain theme or motif in that kind of like is like presented in that movie, and we don't have to get too far into that, but it's there, and that's why you could see why Michael turns into who he is. But then, like in the second one, what the fuck?
I know. I
It
know.
was like
I know.
it was like it turned into like Friday the 13th, which is like what you said. Whenever Jason's pretty much doing all of that for his
Oh, for
mother,
mommy. That's what it became. He was doing it for his mom.
exactly.
It wasn't because he wanted to or because he wanted to reunite with Lori. It was because his mommy was telling him to. And that's
Yeah,
just I'm sorry, but that's stupid.
Rob Zombie pretty much. Sorry, no offense. Rob Zombie definitely ripped off Friday the 13th right there.
Yeah.
Like almost certain. And like that entire like part of like where it's like when the mother is like introduced as like the ghost and like leading
Yeah.
Michael around, like it just lost me there,
I know.
to be honest.
I feel you.
Like it went into like, I'm sorry, there's a certain scene where like it went to this weird trippy thing, and I was waiting for like My Chemical Romance to start playing, like Welcome to the Black Parade, like that full music video. Like I was expecting that to start playing because it
Right.
was really weird. And yeah, I think that. But back to the question, I don't think it helped, honestly. But since it was its own thing to a certain degree, I mean, it worked for the movie.
Mhm.
But in regards to like holding true to the origins of the true like general mysterious origins of Michael, like it didn't help it whatsoever. It actually like damaged it, so to speak, because when people think of Michael Myers now, they're gonna think of Rob Zombies. Like no matter how much you claim it's reimagined and not canon. Like that's something that they're gonna be like Michael Myers gonna be connected to that.
Yeah,
Like
well,
that's
and
the
I'm glad we have the new films that with this new timeline where they went back to that original what he was supposed to be, and they went back to the origins.
mhm.
Um, and I liked Michael in this. I actually thought that Michael was it. It's the scariest Michael. It's the Michael that I would not want to come in contact with at all. Like if I had to go up against any of them from every movie in the franchise, I would not want to go up against this one.
Fully agree.
You have
Because
no shot. You
my
have
God,
no shot. I mean, you don't have a shot with any of them, but you
yeah,
have no shot against him. I mean, Tyler Main is what 6'8", 6'9". I mean, he's huge, huge. But I want to talk about the good things too, because there are really good things about what what Rob Zombie does in his movies. I mean, if you look at the tone, you look at the Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, um, you know, 31, both of his Halloween films. The tone of his movies, it's grunge, it's gritty, it's shocking and disgusting for the sake of being shocking and disgusting. Um, and I think that works for him. I think, look at we just watched H2 and did our commentary, which will be up very soon. And look at the cinematography at the beginning of Halloween 2. When Laurie's walking down the street with the gun and Brackett finds her, and it's raining, and you get like the light from the street lights plus like the fog, it looks good. His movies look spectacular. The guy knows how to set up a shot.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
his eye for cinematography is really, really good. The color grading is good. I remember watching the special features for his Halloween 1. And, in Act 1, they purposely used shaky cam a lot. Like when he's killing Judith in the hallway, it's that like shaky, it's uneven. Nothing is, like parallel. And the color grading was really warm. And then, of course, he gets to Smith Grove and kind of in Act 2, and everything gets symmetrical. Everything, like the color grading was colder. It was a little bit more blue,
yeah.
which kind of, it's like the subconscious thing that helps move the story forward. You're not actually actively thinking, hey, the color here is a little bluer than it was 10 minutes ago. Like, you don't think that, but it helps. And then, of course, in Act 3, he went back when Michael gets to Haddonfield and he's finding Laurie and he kills her parents and he's, walking the streets. It goes back to shaky cam. Everything is uneven. It's moving quick. And that's, that speaks. He's a good director. He really is. I don't, again, you and I think both agree on this. I don't agree with the creative decisions he makes, but I got to say, he does what he does really well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's his bag. Like
Yeah,
cinematography
it
is
really
obviously
is.
one of his top things. And again, it's not the fact that like he wrote a bad script. It's just that he made the characters. He made me hate the characters a lot.
You
A
really hated
lot.
Loomis, man.
I hate.
Yeah,
Oh my
guys, Miguela's
God.
got a hot take. You didn't even like Loomis when we watched the first one.
No, I didn't. Like straight up.
And
Like
I
even
thought Malcolm McDowell did a great job. Malcolm McDowell, he didn't watch Donald Pleasance's performance in the original because he wanted to make it his own. And I think it's cool. He still kind of captured the essence of Dr. Loomis,
mm-hmm.
even though he didn't see his performance. But you have a hot take on what Loomis could have done to prevent all of this.
Pretty much. I mean, look, whenever like so they talked about in H2 they talked about whenever he was signing the books and all that stuff, and one of the fans were like saying like this Michael Myers, like he's more than a Jeffrey Dahmer or Charles Manson. And I was like, okay, so like that should like be pretty common knowledge that during the time when Michael Myers was young and he found out this guy was over here killing cats and rats and shit like that, like I would lock that kid up immediately or send him somewhere
I
before
mean,
he
to be
did
fair,
anything
they
harm.
did.
That was after he already like fucking killed old boy from Spy Kids, which by the way,
I know. I can't. My
The
wife
fact,
mentioned the fact that kid's the brother in
yeah,
Spy Kids,
I
and I
think it's
can't unsee
hilarious.
that now.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely hilarious that I forgot the name of the production company. Troublemaker?
Hmm?
You know what I'm talking about? The
What
production team,
for Spy
the
Kids?
studio. Yeah, the studio.
Oh, I don't remember that. I don't
Like
know.
that, like
I don't remember.
this. It's the same studio that made Halloween 2, made Spy Kids, and I think that's fucking hilarious because those are two totally different movies. But again, back to Lewis, my guys, this man could have saved this entire movie. Like he could have just stopped it all. There's like almost there's like I counted 17 different times where Loomis could have been like, yeah, this kid's fucking crazy. Like throw him in a
Well,
cage forever.
it's funny because I'm curious to see once we do go back and watch. I'm gonna I want to get you caught up on the current stuff because once Halloween Kill stuff starts to drop, I'm gonna be hyped. But once we can finally go back and we have some time to like watch the series, like the original series, before they did all the crazy sequels, I'm curious what you'll think of Dr. Loomis because I for one thing that I did enjoy about Rob Zombie's H1, I quite enjoyed seeing him and Loomis interact in Smith's Grove.
I hated
And
it.
I know a lot of people didn't because it was like a lot of people say, you don't need to see that. Like, I don't want to see them interacting. I thought it was kind of cool. And if I'm going to say this now, if they ever decide once Halloween ends is done, and I do think Halloween Kills needs to be done, like it needs to be the last one with Jamie Lee Curtis and with like the original film needs to stop after that. But I guarantee you somebody will remake it in 10 or 15 years because they
That's how
will.
it goes. Again, with the
That's
remake
just how
stuff.
it goes. And if somebody remakes it, the Laurie Strode storyline has been beaten to death. Like they have done, it's just the entire series has hinged on Laurie Strode pretty much. I want to see them focus on Michael and Loomis. Like I don't just make Michael the mindless, motiveless killer that he is, and make it about Loomis trying to hunt him down because in this film, in Rob Zombie's first film, the second film, Loomis is a pompous asshole, and like I don't care about him at all in the second film.
Yeah.
He straight up looked at his assistant and said, if I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you. Like, what? Like, that's not the
That
same character from the first
it
one.
literally made it feel like Halloween, like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It made it almost felt like a reboot pretty much.
I know it didn't, and that's one of the things. My biggest complaints about H2 is that I honestly like. I know it's the same world and it's the same characters and the same timeline, but I almost feel like it's not even a real sequel to H1. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I know it is, but it doesn't feel the same. But going back to Dr. Loomis, I think in this movie, one of the things that I really enjoyed was the fact that Loomis cared about Michael. He didn't just give up on him. He wanted to help him. And even if you look at the pool scene at the end of Rob Zombie's first film, well, kind of going up to the climax, when Loomis finds him and Michael's walking towards Laurie, every time he shoots the trigger, he pulls the trigger and shoots him, he like agonizes it. Like Loomis doesn't want to shoot him. He wants to help him. You know what I mean? And I think in some weird screwed up way he loved Michael and he really he really wanted to help him, which is different than the original because in the original Loomis was like he shoots him 6 times. Like he doesn't care. Like Loomis wants him dead, because
That's a
he's
smart
like
Loomis.
because Loomis in the original Loomis realizes like there's nothing left. Like I can't help him anymore. Like nobody can help him. He's never gonna stop unless he dies. So I actually liked the whole that was the kind of reimagining that I thought it should be. Not the
And
white trashiness, not all of that stuff.
mhm,
I enjoyed the fact that Loomis cared about him.
I think that I like that theory, like that theory of like the relationship between Loomis and Michael, because I think that's a pretty dope storyline. I mean that's not really used. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's always like the killer and the damsel in distress,
Right.
the last woman standing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a movie where it's like a detective, like someone hunting down a killer, so to
Right.
speak. Like, and it's a horror movie. It's usually
Loomis
just
is Michael's Van Helsing.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's what he is.
Now that you think about it, yeah, it pretty much is. So like that'd be interesting to see,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, if they ever do like make a spinoff where it's like Loomis like hunting down Michael, like I would definitely go check that out.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, man, like Loomis and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, God, I hate that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Even like on the first one, I didn't like him because he was so naive and dumb. And then in the second one, because he was just again a pompous asshole, and
Yeah.
he wholeheartedly deserved to die in that movie. Sorry, guys.
Well, I mean,
Spoiler alert.
I do think you'll like Loomis a lot better once we watch the original, because even in the 18 film, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil this for you. They catch him after the because at the end of the first film, you don't know what happened. He's just gone after Loomis shoots him. And then of course, during 18, Loomis is dead. I mean, he'd be like 106 by the time they shot the 2018 film, because it's 40 years later. But I mean, Loomis actually says in like an old cassette tape that they need to incinerate Michael, like lethal injection, then incinerate him. And Loomis wants to be the one to like put his hand on his chest to like verify that Michael's not breathing anymore. I feel like that's the Loomis that you want. That's how you would handle that.
Pretty much. Yeah. Wholeheartedly. Like, Jesus Christ, this man had a go. Like
if you
in
were
the
his
Rob Zombie
doctor,
one.
if you were his doctor, you'd be like, you got to make sure he's gone. Like,
Like, I don't care. Lethal injectors, double tap that man in the forehead too. Like, I could care less. Like, do whatever you can. Like, and when he said incinerate, I was like, brilliant, brilliant. You have my thumbs up, my man.
Another thing I wanted to touch on real quick before we get into the bad and we start talking about H2, the cast. I thought the cast was fantastic. Even the trashy characters like William Forsythe playing what's his name, Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. Sherry Moon Zombie, I think she did good in her role. I think it's just weird that he shoehorns her into every movie he makes.
I mean, it's the same as Tim Burton and what's her name? I forgot, but it's basically his wife,
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, something like that. And she like they were married at the time, and she was in every single movie of his. So I mean, you use what you got. If she's a good actress, she's a good actress.
Yeah. Tyler Mane did a great job as Michael. Brought a whole lot to that role. Scout Taylor Compton was a great Laurie. She was in the first one, she was a really great girl next door, just a high school girl having fun. It was brilliant to bring Danielle Harris back, which I know, as I told you, Danielle Harris was a child actor at the time, but she was in Halloween 4 and 5 playing a different character. I mean, a different timeline, different character. But they brought her back as kind of a nod, and she did a really good job as Annie. I like Danielle Harris as Annie way better than I like the original girl playing Annie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she played a really good role.
I could tell from H2 that her death meant more in total of like the entire movie, just based on like her history and like all the other ones. Well, because pretty much you told me like of her history in the franchise. So whenever it came down to like her final scene, like it was like really like tragic and emotionally driven. Definitely. So I could tell like that was like a serious thing for them to do.
For hardcore Halloween fans, that was a rough moment because of what she did for the franchise, Mm-hmm. But even Linda, who what is her name? I'm so sorry. I don't remember who played Linda. It'll come to me. I follow her on Instagram, but it'll come to me. She did a great job. The cast was great. The problem was, as we transition into H2, they just ruined every single character. We were talking in the commentary, Laurie. If you had gone through this crazy traumatic event and you were the survivor of some god-awful crimes, why would you be like, would you really want Charles Manson above your bed?
Hey man, people experience trauma different ways, but still, like that doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that if that happened, like so, like an H2 happened in Halloween, year later, H2, bro, I would lock my shit into a house and barricade myself. Like I would like have straight
If you knew
PTSD.
that they never found his body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if I knew he was still out there, wholeheartedly would live in a shed
I'd
in
be
the
moving
ground.
to like Asia or something. Like
Yes,
I'd be like leaving the country.
some like that, yeah. But she didn't. That's I mean, that was like totally out of character to me. That was something I know wouldn't do.
Honestly, that's a perfect way to put it. I mean, look at Loomis. It's just all so out of character. He destroyed Loomis. I'm sorry, but there's like I can deal with what happened with all the other characters. But Loomis, I mean, come on. The dude barely survived. He was an emotional, like he was really trying to do the right thing in the first one, even though you wholeheartedly disagree with what he did. But at least he was trying to be the good guy in the first one. But in this one, when he's talking about like slapping his assistant, and he's just like, "Go get me a hot tea," and just stuff like that, and then he's talking to freaking Weird Al Yankovic on the talk show, like it was just weird, just like weird and out of character. You
It
know what I mean?
Yeah, because I wanted an H2, I wanted to see Loomis as a more broken down kind of character. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
He should have been ridden with guilt,
Well, think about
and
how
he
much more
wasn't.
meaningful it would have been
Whenever
if
he decided to sacrifice himself,
right,
like
but not only that, but if he was Laurie's psychiatrist, because then you could even dive into like, what if Laurie blames him a little bit? You know what I mean? And
mhm.
he's trying to help her, but he feels so much guilt, and they're both trying to deal with that trauma. Like, especially Loomis, you could have moved in a different direction.
Yeah, they literally threw him off a cliff,
And
character
then
development wise.
I must say, at least you cared about, or at least you were invested somehow, even if you didn't like a character in the first one, you were kind of invested in them. They mattered. I felt like most of the characters in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 didn't matter. Like
None.
Laurie's two other friends, I didn't care. Everybody at the Rabbit and Red, I didn't care. I just didn't care about anybody except for, and again, the shining light in both of them, Brackett. Because Sheriff Brackett was really trying to do the right thing, and Annie and Danielle Harris, because she was just, trying to live her life too. She was all scarred up and stuff.
Annie is the only person I know that like I agree with how she reacted to what happened.
They didn't really dive into Annie's trauma, but I kind of feel like Annie was able to let it go a little bit. Like, this
Mhm.
happened, I survived, I made it, and we're here now, and like that's all that matters. Where Lori couldn't really let it go. You know what I mean? It was like always with her. And I know
Mhm.
they tried to dive into the psychic connection bullshit with her and Michael, but whatever.
That was
That
so
that
weird.
was stupid. And they've done that before. They've done that before with the series. But it's just, I don't know. It was just not, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, they just I don't know. Like it's just I was never a fan of those type of horror movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's some type of like if it's gonna be supernatural, it has to be supernatural.
Right. Absolutely.
But this was like it started out as just like a crazy like serial killer, but then they added some like supernatural kind of thing, and I was like,
Well,
"What the fuck are we getting at, guys?"
and that goes back to like showing too much. Michael Myers has always ridden that line of like, is he human or is he supernatural? Is he
Hmm.
human? It's like, you don't know, because it's like he's unstoppable. He's just like this unstoppable force. But when you start showing Michael chasing the white horse and Sherry Moon Zombie down the street, and like Lori, like at the end when they're in the shack at the end of H2, and she's being held down by not Dag Ferrick, by the other kid playing young Michael, like
Yeah,
it's too much. And even showing, like you said, all those like hallucinations or whatever they were, of like the pumpkin head guys eating at the table and whatever, like it never explained any of that. It was just, I
it
don't
was
know if
just
he
there.
intended that to just be like what was going on in Michael's head, and it's not supposed to make sense. But I think it hindered it more than it was like, ooh, that's interesting. What does that mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I was interested. Like, I want to be like, what the fuck does all this mean? But then it was never described. Like, I'm sure, like,
Yeah.
let me tell you, I'm sure if they did Loomis right, we probably would have. He probably would have helped us understood why those things were
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. You
But
could have
again,
done stuff like that.
Loomis didn't do that. He was just some guy that was selling a book, and no one could care. No one, I swear, if they would have like let Loomis like been the type of character where he experienced all this stuff and is living with the guilt,
Uh
it
huh.
would have made his sacrifice more meaningful.
Yeah.
Instead, it was like, yeah, Loomis, you go in that building, you just fucking die.
Yeah.
Like you go ahead because you were a piece of shit throughout the entire
But I
movie.
mean, even look at all the characters though. If every character wasn't written so white trashy, it would be more like meaningful. Like their role would be more meaningful. But I just felt like, at least you feel for Laurie in Halloween 1. You feel for Annie. Like they're just like kids trying to like live and be in high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
But in the second one, I don't root for anybody. You know what I mean? And again, that's not the actor's fault. That the actors did a great job doing what was written. I just felt like they were so out of character from what they would have done, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to say that's I want to say that Rob Zombie meant to do almost all of that
I
for a
know, and
specific reason,
I think he did. I
but
don't think anybody sets out to make a bad
it's
movie, you know?
it just didn't hit. That's all I gotta say. It didn't hit the mark in regards to what I would think with Halloween. And I want to say that he meant to make everyone seem like that, but I keep telling myself like why would you want to do that?
I know.
Because literally no one is invested in any of the characters, so their deaths were pretty much meaningless. It was just basically like a gory movie.
Yeah,
It wasn't
for no
horror.
reason.
It wasn't horror. It was just gory.
Yep. I did like the Hobo Myers look. I thought that was pretty cool.
he There are some scenes where he looked like the Undertaker, like a scarier
When
version of the Undertaker.
when he had the mask on, it was cool. When it was just like beard, I was like, that's weird. But okay, I've wanted to say this for a really long time. Here is the biggest issue that I have with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Okay.
I I think it is the biggest waste of potential in the entire franchise because his first movie was not that bad. It had good, we talked about the script was pretty good. The characters were trashy, but I can get over that. The cinematography was good. Michael looked badass. He was ripped. He was ready. The acting was great. Here's the problem with H2. I love the first 20 minutes of that movie. Take out the two guys who were having the disgusting conversation in the van,
Yeah.
but like showing them, showing Lori walking through the streets with a gun and Brackett finding her and taking her to the hospital. The whole hospital scene was
Was
fantastic.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was spot
like
on.
I remember watching that in the movie theater and being like, "Oh, you know what I mean?" Like you see that and you're like, "Holy crap, like this is real. Like this is getting kind of wild now." And it took itself seriously,
Mm-hmm.
or so we thought. I think the minute that he kills what was his name, Buddy, the
Buddy,
guy,
yeah.
the poor security guard,
Poor
the
guy.
minute that Michael swings the axe and Lori wakes up and that was a dream, that is the biggest missed opportunity of the franchise. Because think about this: when Lori's huddled in there and Michael goes like this with the axe to swing it down and kill her, what if Brackett or Loomis? I know Loomis was injured, but if he was able, what if Brackett or somebody or even just a cop shot Michael in the back before he could swing the axe and she didn't wake up from a dream? Now, I'm not saying that you have to spend the rest of the movie in the hospital like the original Halloween 2 did, but if he didn't get to swing the axe and then either Michael kills the cop who shot him, or maybe if it's Brackett, him and Brackett have a killer standoff moment in the rain or something like that while Lori gets away, something like that. But if you just retconned like the last hour and
That's the best way, yeah.
hour and 20 minutes of that movie and you just continued it. It's the same night. It's raining. Laurie gets away. Brackett gets away. Loomis wakes up in the hospital and realizes, like, holy shit, something's wrong. Like, he finds all the dead bodies and stuff. And you have basically the rest of H2 is like an all-out war scenario where Brackett gets Laurie to a safe place across town, and Michael is just going through town, like, butchering and just like destroying everything, and Loomis is hot on his tail. Wouldn't that be a much more interesting movie than just like what we got with Michael chasing his mom all the time?
Pretty much, yeah. I agree with that. And
Like that's what I would have done with H2. And I know I'm not a filmmaker. I know I'm not. But like if I could change one thing about the Halloween franchise, that's what I would change.
I like it, honestly. And again, like I was just like how you were reacting to it. I wasn't too pleased with that being a dream. I was waiting for the time where like it turned into a dream, because like it was pretty good. Like I liked the first 20 minutes of it, but yeah, I actually like that storyline a little bit better the way you put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that sounds way better than what the fuck we got.
I don't know. I think it would be interesting. But real quick, what's your score for H1? What out of 10?
Oh,
What
okay,
are
yeah.
you gonna give it?
I would give Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 would probably be like a 5 or a 6.
Okay.
Okay, and Halloween 2 is gonna get a straight up 4, even a 3.
That's fair.
It wasn't all that.
I think I would give H1 a 7. I think it was for what it was. If you look at it for what it was a good movie.
Okay.
As a Halloween movie, it's probably like a 5 or a 6.
Mm-hmm.
H2, I'm going to be straight up. I'm going to give H2 probably a 4. And I think that would be pushing it. I watch it every year. I when I binge them at Halloween time in October,
yeah,
I watch it too because it's part of it. It's still part of the franchise. Look at The Last Jedi. I know everybody hates The Last Jedi. Well, most people hate The Last Jedi.
No, it's predominantly hated.
But if you're watching the whole series, you're gonna watch it. Thor: The Dark World. I mean, it's just like, come on. If you're watching them all, you have to, because it's just the way it is.
It's fun. And it's fun to make fun of it too.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fun to talk about them, and it's fun to, just to think about what was and what can be, and that's it, really.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully, whenever the new Halloween movie comes out, I'm not gonna try to compare it.
Oh,
but I'm
no.
gonna compare it.
I know, and you can't compare it, and that's the thing with all these different timelines is, because you have I'm going to give you the rundown of the timelines here. Basically, you had the original, which was supposed to be standalone. It was never supposed to get a sequel. And then they did H1 through
H6. Okay.
H6. Part 3 was its own anthology. It had nothing to do with the Michael Myers storyline at all, because that was John Carpenter's original plan. And then you had H2O and Resurrection, which were direct sequels to the original. That was the first reboot. It wasn't a remake, it was just a reboot. They retconned 2 through 6. Or 4 through 6. I don't remember. I think it's 4 through 6. And then Rob Zombie remade it. And now we have the 2018 film, which was a direct sequel to the original. So now they've retconned the original sequel through Rob Zombies. All of that is just, it's gone. It doesn't matter. But again, it's still fun to watch them. I mean, it still happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's fun to just kind of like play around in that world. You know what I mean? Same thing with like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies or Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies. They're still fun to watch. It's not part of the MCU yet. It's not part of the MCU yet. But it's still fun to watch. You know what I mean? And it's just a good time.
I agree. And hopefully, whenever I think during like this year, because since we're still gonna be in the pandemic, I mean, I guess one of the things I'm gonna be doing is watching a whole lot of horror movies, because I don't usually watch horror movies, but I might start checking more of them out. And the first one's gonna be the Halloween franchise, because obviously we're gonna talk more about it.
I know. We'll like I said, we'll probably start like next month. We'll we'll get you in, but I think you'll be happy. Guys, that is going to do it for episode number 12 of Let's Talk Movies. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your week and spending it with us. We hope everything is good in your world. We were going to drop our commentaries for Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2 on Wednesday and Friday of this week. So we'll have some additional content coming your way. Hope everything is good in your world, and we will talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.